Hey everybody, this is Jerichos, and welcome back to The Messenger. Last time, we made it through two different areas, the Quillshroom Marsh and the Searing Crag, and we fought a total of 3 bosses, Queen of Quills and Kolos and Susis, the colossal Cyclops brothers. I was about to call them Ogre brothers, but that's not what they are. After getting all the way through there, we got launched skyward rather unceremoniously into the Glacial Peak. So let's head onward, and I'll tell you right now, this is an area that has a lot of bottomless pits. So be prepared for that, and we're going to journey onward, and while we do, I'll let you listen to the music here. Yeah, this is another banger of a song. I mean, it starts off a little generic, but then it gets really good. Now, I will tell you, be wary because this area does have ice physics whenever you see ice on the ground here. Also, they've got some snow bits. Yeah, when you see that hanging from a wall, you can grab onto it, but then it will fall down almost immediately. It will reform in time, but be very aware of that. That's going to be needed for in the future. Need anything? Yes, I want to hear about the current area. I'm finally near the mountain summit. Looks like my adventure is about to come to an end. Clearly you haven't watched the trailer. Pardon? Never mind. Hey, it's cold and slippery out there. Be careful. So yeah, if you watched the trailer for this game, you may have seen something that seems to imply our story's not going to end at this mountain. But speaking of stories, do you have any stories to share, Shopkeep? Of course, here's one for you. There once was a village settled in a land of ice and snow. Food was scarce, but not as much as heat. Their elders spoke of a lush grove, safe, abundant, and with comfortable weather to boot. The only problem was that grove lay on the other side of a permanent hailstorm, which would take weeks to cross. One day, a brave couple left their young boy behind to attempt what the village called the trek. They would scout all the way to the grove and confirm its existence, then come back to the village and lead everyone to a better life. Like all who attempted the trek before them, they sadly and predictably never came back. Over the following decades, that boy grew up with only one goal in mind, to take on the trek himself and find his parents alive at the grove, or dead in the ice. Figuring they may have simply been ill-prepared, he trained every day until he was 5 years older than his parents were when they left for the trek, then set off for his own attempt. The hailstorm's first bite wasn't as bad as he thought it would be, but the ice-cold soil slowly worked its way into his bones. After days of walking through the storm without realizing it was all just a metaphor playing out in his troubled young adult mind, he stumbled upon a, no pun intended, chilling sight. His parents, frozen solid in a block of ice. The shock was too strong. He remained there, cursing, pondering, and cursing again until the cold took him to become a part of the ice block. The end. What? What do you mean, what? No moral? Or at least a proper ending? Sometimes, stories can be harsh. It might just be the very message they mean to convey about life. You need to think about what transpired and find your own takeaways. There are no wrong answers, as long as they ring true to you. Maybe, but this one really felt like a pointless story. And it just might be the case that for you, it was. Or you could consider the implications of our adventurer being 5 years older than his parents when he found them. Can you imagine gazing upon those who were your protectors and mentors, realizing that they're actually younger than you? Your bearers of truth, the wise ones, those you aspired to be like? A harsh reality indeed. You thought they knew it all, had it all figured out, that they were centered and filled with purpose. Yet there you stand, beholding the one pillar you ever took for granted and used for stability, physically crystallized, yet mentally shattered before your very eyes. Had they really found inner peace already when you knew them, meaning you're the one who missed the mark, or were they simply excellent actors? Food for thought, huh? Yes, that's enough. Remember, this is all subjective. I shared but one angle. And yeah, that's a bit of a crazy story there. But hey, with that story behind us, let's journey into the Glacial Peak. You'll notice we have a couple new enemies that are essentially the exact same as ones we encountered before. These jumpers will actually take 2 hits, though. That's the one exception. Those ice monsters who throw the rocks are exactly the same. These little spinny guys are the same as the red ones. They're pretty much identical in all but color palette. Thankfully, this is a pretty easy section at the start. It will get harder, but for now, let's see, we can go up here and progress that way, or we can continue on to the left. I think I'm going to do the left. But you know what? You can die that way. Be aware, we've got, as I said, this is an area with lots of bottomless pits and lots of ice physics. A dangerous combination indeed. Yeah, if you don't have that downwards aerobatic warrior, whatever it was called, that downward slash, this area can be a lot harder. I mean, a lot harder. So you want to make sure you've got at least that optional upgrade. Continue on here. Interesting thing to note, if you do the rope dart on the projectile that the shell guys toss at you, it will not bounce off. It will just slash right through it. It'll give you the cloud step, but it won't, you know, bounce off the way it does off a lamp. This looks interesting. They look like they're frozen lamps, but nothing we can do with them. Can't even attack them. However, as we continue on, we get a little bit of a bouncy pad. Kind of a neat little thing. Now, a common trick, back in old NES days especially, if you're sliding, if you jump, you immediately come to a halt, as long as you're not pressing a direction. So you can use that to gain a little more control if you're kind of losing control on the slippy, slidey ice. As we head upward here, got a whole bunch of these. All they really are is a bunch of money. Now, I don't think you have anything new to say here. Nope. But I will go ahead and tell you, if you have not already done the cabinet lecture, and you want to do that, do it now. I can't remember if there's exactly, if this is the very last time, or if it's almost the last time, but this is a time you want to do it, at the start of Glacial Peak. Otherwise, you can miss getting it. I won't say anything more about it, but just be aware. And hey, I'm glad to see you. I've had, you know, a sort of a lack of big time shards for a while. And now, thankfully, we're getting closer and closer to that 1,000 time shard upgrade. Shame those big time shards don't refill. But we're still going, getting everything we can. We'll get there eventually. And look, these floating lion heads are back. What a thing to have in an area with bottomless pits, huh? You would think this is a Castlevania game instead of, you know, a Ninja Gaiden-like game. And you guys are really not a problem at all. I will say this move makes these lanterns that rise up much easier to maneuver, because you can just sit on top of them spamming the attack, and hello, this guy again. Operates the exact same way as last time, just now we have ice physics. 3 hits, out, and he's gone. Like I said, exactly the same as last time, just with added ice physics. I love this. Oh, we were out of sight of it, but yeah. If you kill the wizard and he falls onto the spikes, he will kill himself. Now here's where it's important to move fast, because obviously those spikes will hurt you if you try to grab onto them. But No big deal. We made it through quickly. Ow. And then the fireball hurts us. Let's see. Yes, up is the optional area. To the left is actually progressing on. Nope, not yet. There we go. There we go. That was a mistake. Thankfully, that's not an instant death pit. It's just back down to this area. Let's try this again. Alright, that is going to be a slight problem. There we go. But not too bad. And hey, we got the power seal. Boom. I think that's our 4th one. We're just breaking them in. Now, we could just drop down to the right, but I want to actually drop back down here. That's a big cliff there. And I could, yes, kind of cheese it and go around that way. Nope, I want that money. Thankfully we got a save point. Yeah, and I didn't really clarify, but when Horrible saves you, it does take you back to the last save point, whether that's a shop or one of these pads. So this is an interesting looking broken statue. Looks almost familiar. Oh, 2 with 1 slash. Yes. We're making good time getting through here. And as we go higher and higher, it's really just taking us up as much as we can. Okay, that was hilarious. He threw his projectile off screen, so it despawned as soon as it came in. Also, another one of those broken statues, but one that looks complete. Well, mostly. Looks like the shopkeeper. And we've gotten really high up. This looks kind of like a boss area, except it's scrolling. But if we come in here, there's no music and no shopkeeper. Here is a very important moment that, since the shopkeeper's not here, let's get inside the cabinet. You really thought it would be that easy? Yeah, he just shows up at the door like, no, you can't do it. I told you already, the cabinet is off limits. Please, stop. We're not doing a special edition of the cabinet rant. I mean it. Don't be that guy. You're being that guy. Fine, be that guy. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Crazy how countdowns give the feeling something's about to happen, huh? But yeah, I got nothing. If you're hoping for something special, just give up the cabinet thing already. The cool stuff is up ahead. Did I ever tell you about the guy who stayed late on a Friday night and started writing optional dialogue to add comedic value for those who will bother looking? Imagine reading his ramblings. By the way, if you feel like the cabinet thing is overdone at this point, I agree, but it's totally on you for keeping on trying to open it. Seriously, you can stop this right now. I mean it, you have the power. Only you can put an end to this optional bit. Which is good, because I got things to do. If I repeat the same thing 3 times, will you think I'm out of flavor text? We're done here. We're done here. We're done here. I can't believe you. Why would you move on to something productive? Like, maybe advancing the quest you're supposed to care about? I'm not gonna lie, though. When the time comes, opening the cabinet will blow your mind. And I'm confident in saying this, even though I know you'll be expecting a surprise. So, how do you surprise someone who's expecting a surprise? With a meta plot twist, that's how. Now, if you want to know what it is, move on already. I promise it's the fastest way. You're not opening that until the script says you get to anyway. Okay, I'll start looping back to the beginning now. You really thought it would be that easy? I told you already, the cabinet is off limits. Please stop. Come on, that was a good trick. How are you still trying to open this? Yeah, he really did look like he was looping back to the beginning. I thought you would give up when it looked like I was looping. If you keep doing that, you'll have to sit through a boring tirade. It will be boring and philosophical, and I'll even remove your ability to skip what I'm saying. Fine. Here's some insights from Jordan the Wise for you. Life is going to come at you hard, so there are a few things you should know. Most important of all is realizing that you have something to offer the world. But in order to do that, you first need to sort yourself out. Lending your ear to the lessons contained in stories of old is not a bad place to start. You see, as human consciousness grew in knowledge, it equally grew in arrogance. We seem to be at this point where the value of stories is lost on us all. Not really caring about morals anymore, we are simply looking to be entertained. But their power on our subconscious is by no means hindered by our intellectual pride. Stories send a clear message to our being, and when told properly, can offer guidance in how to live our lives, impacting us in ways we sometimes don't even notice. In fact, recurring themes more often than not represent archetypes, and contain lessons on how to or how not to behave. Consider dragons for a moment. Fantasy stories always seem to have them hoarding treasure. Not coincidentally at all, two of the biggest innate fears in mammals are fire and reptiles. So dragons are really a metaphor representing that which you fear the most. Now, why would an immortal, fire-breathing reptile care to sleep on a pile of gold? The answer can be read between the lines. The treasure you seek is guarded by your greatest fear. Don't get me wrong, the pile of gold is as much a metaphor here as is the mighty beast that doesn't even exist. Find your dragon and slay it, then your treasure will be revealed. This is the wisdom storytellers of old were trying to convey, only they didn't have the scientific method, a framework by which to structure arguments, or even a high IQ audience. The lesson isn't any less important or relevant today, however. That which you most need to discover within yourself is hidden where you least want to look. Now ask yourself, why were you so curious about my cabinet? Are you a very conscientious person, adamant on leaving no stones unturned? Or have you not mastered your insecurities, and the fear of missing out is what's really driving you at this moment? Maybe you are simply hoping to get a laugh out of some unexpected one-liner. Because I'll admit, we both know I could kill the mood right now and tell you about how a depressed clown once attempted to lift his mood by eating bowls of confetti. What I'm getting at is, regardless of your motive here, you've clearly demonstrated curiosity and faith that the world holds surprises for those who take an honest look. While that can certainly be said about the world, it's even more true about your inner self. Now, whether that is scary, insightful, or encouraging depends entirely on how far you've made it on your personal growth journey. Life is made of many exams, most of which will present themselves to you more than once. Betrayal, joy, illness, adventure, treason, cooperation, purpose, loneliness, warmth, loyalty. Indeed, just like stories old and new, life has recurring themes when testing humans. The important part is not whether or not you pass each test, but that you show up, acknowledge your score, and ponder how it can inform who you should become. From there, everything is there inside of you to help you find your own way. Who knows? The underlying meaning of the messenger story might even hit you eventually. But for now, let's get back to your adventure. And we get the trophy, Bait Taken, for triggering the second lecture. And now, it honestly is looping. So, we don't need to go through that again, but we got a trophy out of it. I'm very happy for that. But it makes us wonder, why on earth was he not in his shop? Could he maybe be preparing for something? Hey, here it is. Oh, he made it! Does this mean we could do the thing? Keep your hood on, Shorty. He still needs to pass the final test. But I want to do the thing! Now, we need to see how attuned to the scroll he really is. Great. Take it away, Prophet. Ahem. Welcome, messenger. Please hold the scroll aloft so that the prophecy might be fulfilled. See? I told you he was slow. Yeah, you weren't kidding. Ahem. Please hold the scroll higher than that, so that the prophecy might be fulfilled. Yeah, I love. Hold it aloft, and he just holds it straight out in front of him. But, ooh, beam of light into the sky. And something's happening. This is cool looking. He made it? Of all would-be messengers? Him? Please pull this off. I really want to do the thing.
A gauntlet awaits you, messenger. Should you survive, find us at the top of the Tower of Time.
Glacial Peaked. For finishing the Glacial Peak area, there was no boss. We just got here, and we find a strange tower ahead of us. Let's go ahead and take a look inside, and we're gone. It's the Tower of Time. Oh yeah, I love this music. And this is an area with some very interesting mechanics that we're going to see next time. We managed to go all the way through the Glacial Peak. No boss this time, but again, we had a lecture on life, existentialism. Not really sure how to describe it, but it was a fun little lecture there. Next time, we're going through the Tower of Time and potentially going to do the thing. I guess you'll have to wait and see next time what that is. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to click like and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.